Hello, college sports fans. You're listening to the College Sports Superfan, and we've got some more great games to go on. So let's continue on and let's get right into this. So we've got number 12 Notre Dame on the road against number 24 Navy. This could be the best Notre Dame versus Navy game in their history. These two teams have played each other many times for a long time. This is actually a historic rivalry. Not a whole lot of people know that because most of the time, Notre Dame absolutely dominates Navy, and this game hardly gets any national coverage until now. The midshipmen have been dominating so far this season. They've been got a super explosive offense led by quarterback Blake Horvath. The lowest amount of points that Navy has scored so far this season is 34 points, and that was against Air Force. And their best win was a 56-44 win over Memphis, who heading into this season, the Memphis Tigers were predicted to be one of the best group of five teams in the country and one of those teams that could get a college football playoff spot. And that right now is Memphis's only loss is to Navy in that shootout. However, it should be noted that the rest of Navy's competition besides Memphis has not been all that great. And of course, they still haven't beaten a legit top 25 team. Notre Dame, by far, will be the toughest team that they've played, and also by far will be the toughest defense that Navy has played. Listen to this here. The most points the Irish have given up so far this season is 24 points to Louisville, and they still won that game against the Cardinals. And if even including that game, they have still been giving up just under 12 points per game. So this Notre Dame defense with head coach Marcus Freeman is legit. And the Irish have a very clear shot at the college football playoff. There's still a very high likelihood that they win out the rest of their season, but a loss to Navy here and the fact that Notre Dame doesn't play in a conference, wouldn't have an opportunity to get into a conference championship to boost their resume. A loss on their schedule, no matter who it is, could end up tanking their playoff hopes when it all comes down to it. But let's start with the Navy midshipmen. Quarterback Blake Horvath has been an elite dual threat quarterback. He's got 888 passing yards on 64%, not that bad. He's got 10 passing touchdowns and only one interception. But he also has 621 rushing yards, which is 7.9 yards per carry, and 10 rushing touchdowns. Undoubtedly, he's been one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the country. At fullback, they have Alex Texa, who's a superstar with 306 rushing yards. He's got 6.2 yards per carry, 7 touchdowns. Plus, he also has 76 yards receiving and a receiving touchdown. Again, Navy is one of the few teams that still uses the fullback position as their main running back. And then also the other running backs, Eli Heinrich has 179 yards rushing, which is 8.1 yards per carry, but not a whole lot of yards. But he also has 485 yards receiving and 5 receiving touchdowns. And running back Brandon Chapman has 170 yards rushing, which is 5.5 yards per carry, and a touchdown, but also 177 yards receiving and 3 receiving touchdowns. So as you can see, Horvath mostly is dishing it out to the other backs in the backfield with them. But this defense for Navy has also been very good. Their strength, surprisingly, this year has been the offense, but the defense is still respectable as well. On the D line, Landon Robinson has 29 tackles, 2 sacks, and 6 quarterback hurries. Justin Reed has 24 tackles, 7 tackles for a loss, and 4 sacks. And at linebacker, Jackson Campbell has 39 tackles, 4.5 tackles for a loss, and an interception. Luke Puris has 29 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss, and a fumble recovery. Kyle Jacob has 45 tackles, 1 fumble recovery, and an interception. And then listen to this, Colin Ramos, who leads this linebacker group, has 68 tackles and 5.5 tackles for a loss. So that linebacker core really nasty for Navy. And then at defensive back, they've got some other great players. Deshaun Peely has 19 tackles, three interceptions, and two touchdowns on the season. So two out of the three interceptions he's run back for pick sixes. Beatty Williams Jr. has 22 tackles and an interception. Rayun Lane has 36 tackles, three pass breakups, two interceptions, and a pick six as well. So, Navy, super good offense, pretty solid defense. They've really, really been good in the turnover margin, which we'll get to in a little bit later here. And they've been able to score, whether it's pick sixes or otherwise, off of those turnovers. Now let's talk about Notre Dame, who's currently favored by 13 points, which I think is just a little bit disrespectful towards Navy, honestly. I get the reason why, because of the competition Navy has faced and the history of this rivalry. But still, Riley Leonard has been an effective dual threat quarterback himself. He's got 1,182 passing yards with six passing touchdowns and three interceptions, so a whole lot more passing yards than Horvath has. But he also has 456 rushing yards, which is 6.1 yards per carry, and 10 rushing touchdowns himself with just one fumble. So we're going to see two quarterbacks that each have double-digit rushing touchdowns just halfway through the season, which is pretty crazy. At running back, Jeremiah Love is a superstar veteran running back. He's got 462 yards, which is 6 yards per carry, and seven touchdowns, plus 149 yards receiving and a receiving touchdown. Then you've got Bo Collins, who came in from Clemson. He's going to become Notre Dame's main wide receiver with 317 yards and a touchdown. But they've also got receivers like Jaden Greathouse and Chris Mitchell, who have been solid as well. And surprisingly, the tight end Mitchell Evans has not had that great of a season. On the defensive line, the defense, first of all, before we get into this is Notre Dame's clear strength. This is what's won them a lot of football games, as already mentioned. On the D line, Riley Mills has 21 tackles, 3 sacks, and 3 quarterback hurries. Howard Cross III has 16 tackles. At linebacker, Drake Bowen has 38 tackles. Kingston Viliamu Asa has 22 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, and an interception. Jack Kisner has 34 tackles. Jaden Osbury has 29 tackles and a fumble recovery. Jalen Sneed has 20 tackles and 2.5 tackles for a loss. And then this secondary for Navy, this secondary, really, really good. This is the strength of their defense. Defensive back Xavier Watts has 26 tackles, 5 pass breakups, and 3 interceptions on the season. Rod Hurd the second has 22 tackles. Benjamin Morrison has 20 tackles and 3 pass breakups, and Leonard Moore has 20 tackles and 2 pass breakups. So this is actually a historic rivalry. In the history, Notre Dame has dominated Navy historically, 80-13 with one tie, and currently they're on a 6-game winning streak over the Midshipmen. What's mind-blowing is Notre Dame at one point had a 43-game winning streak over Navy, and they've been playing since 1927. The last time they played at MetLife Stadium, which is where this game is being played, was 2010, and Navy won that game 35-17. So who knows? Maybe Navy can use MetLife as some kind of home field advantage here to win this game. But now that I have a 26-20 overall record thanks to last week. I told you guys I get better as the season goes on typically. So start off a little rough, but my predictions went really well. I went 4-1 last week when including the videos and the posts that I made. So 26-20 overall right now. So I'm feeling a little gutsy. It's a neutral site game in New Jersey. I'm going to say Navy pulls off the upset and wins this game by 3 points. Why am I saying Navy is going to stop Notre Dame's winning streak and win this game by 3 points? Well, there's a few reasons. Number one, I think this is going to be a heavy defensive battle. Right now, the over-under is at 52.5. I feel like the under is going to hit because I'm kind of imagining a game that's 24-21 right now. Navy has only committed 2 turnovers all year. They are plus 12 in the turnover margin, which is one of the best marks in the entire country. Notre Dame, to be fair to them, has been really good at the turnover margin as well. They've only got 8 turnovers and they have a +4 turnover margin, so their defense has really done a great job getting takeaways. And I do believe Navy probably will turn the ball over one time, but I don't see it being any more than that. This midshipman team is really well disciplined. They're really gutsy. They're fighting super hard. They want to win this one badly. And if the Navy midshipmen can upset Notre Dame, they're going to put themselves on a path to the college football playoff, which is just mind blowing, mind blowing. And who knows, maybe that game between Army and Navy, which Army also plays Notre Dame, fun fact, later on in the season, right before they play Navy. That game may determine not only who goes to the American Championship game, but also which one of those two teams will have a shot at the college football playoff and a national championship. That is my prediction on that. Thank you all so much for watching the College Sports Superfan. I've still got a couple more videos about games coming out next, which includes Alabama taking on Missouri, and then the game of the week in College Station between LSU and Texas A&M. So you're not going to want to miss those. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get alerted whenever I come out with new videos.